Where are you in the storm? In the chaos, can you hear our desperate call?
Hello and welcome to day 2 in our series called Navigating the Storm. At the beginning of today's devotion, we will read an account in the book of Acts where Paul is facing a literal storm on his way to Rome. Acts chapter 27, verses 1 to 8. When it was decided that we would sail for Italy, Paul and some other prisoners were handed over to a centurion named Julius, who belonged to the imperial regiment. We boarded a ship from Adramyttium, about to sail for ports along the coast of the province of Asia, and we put out to sea. Aristarchus, a Macedonian from Thessalonica, was with us. The next day we landed at Sidon, and Julius, in kindness to Paul, allowed him to go to his friends so that they might provide for his needs. From there we put out to sea again and passed to the lee of Cyprus because the winds were against us. When we had sailed across the open sea off the coast of Cilicia and Pamphylia, we landed at Myra in Lycia. There, the centurion found an Alexandrian ship sailing for Italy and put us on board. We made slow headway for many days and had difficulty arriving off Cnidus. When the wind did not allow us to hold our course, we sailed to the lee of Crete, opposite Salmone. We moved along the coast with difficulty and came to a place called Fair Havens, near the town of Lasea. In my teens, I took part in a charity cycle ride from Leicester, where I lived, to Skegness on the Lincolnshire coast. The route that we took meant that we were cycling for around 75 miles. And there are two things in particular I remember about the journey. One, it was an incredibly windy day. And two, for the large majority of the journey, the wind seemed to be at my back. The wind was behind me. What a difference it can make to a journey when the wind is at your back. What a difference it can make to a journey when the wind is against you. Unfortunately for Paul, throughout his journey to Rome, it seems that in one way or another, the winds are very much against him. In the account of Jesus walking on the water, found in the 14th chapter of Matthew's Gospel, we read these lines. Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to the other side. The boat was battered by the waves because the wind was against them. I wonder if you have ever had thoughts along these lines. Why does it all seem so hard? Why does it feel like the wind is so often against me? Why does progress feel so slow? Am I doing something wrong? The author and academic Professor Trevin Wax writes this. Following Jesus doesn't mean the wind will always be at your back. On the contrary, the wind is often against you. Sometimes people talk as if following Jesus makes life better and easier. You're right that Jesus makes life better, but don't think following Jesus makes your life easier. Coming to Christ will complicate your life. I think there is some truth in what Professor Wax writes there. Salmon famously have to swim upstream against the current and for hundreds of miles.
And although they fail time after time, their desire to push on is so strong they never give up.
And there is a struggle to life that can seem very real and ongoing for many, many people. And not only is the Christian not exempt from this, I think that it is entirely possible that the Christian may experience particular struggle because they are a Christian. Still, as the author and theologian G.K. Chesterton once noted, any old dead thing can float downstream. Nobody enjoys the struggle of the storm, but it will happen. And at some point, like the journey of the salmon, it will end. That is a hopeful